Live. Yeah, all right, this guy here, look, when you want to make a statement, people, all I'm saying, look, people, now, I'm not saying that I completely agree with everything. However, I'm saying when you want to make a statement, right? Make a statement. I was going to do a live and it was going to be on what do the people want of any country. I had to do this. This guy, he even stopped before backing up. He even stopped before backing up for me to do this. All right, then, brother. Appreciate it. You good? Yeah, look at that, people. If you want to make a statement, make a statement. We got people right now that are actually in Canada that are actually standing up for even the Canadians' rights. If you want to make a statement, make a statement. Now, there it is. You know what I mean? All right, so check this out. I will do a quick live. I was not going to go live, but I had some stuff on my mind. I was actually taking a call, and I said, oh, and this is going to be right in front of me? No. There are no coincidences. So, hold tight. Appreciate that. Now, this is just on the phone too, off the cuff, man. I got my computer set up. I mean to do an audio live. I do have a mic. I do have stuff going on, right, where I can actually do. So I get this thing on my ear and talk right. I don't know how. That's why singers sound funny. They got stuff in their ears. I was on the phone and this guy come up, man. You ain't just gonna roll up like that and then just not. Yeah, hold tight too. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna do a little something different. Shoot, that's what's up. Hold tight. All right, then, people, check this out. So, and hey, I'm gonna be famous. Look, I was in the shot, I think. I don't know, whatever. You know I'm not about that. Now, look. This guy here, and I sensed him, he's a descendant of angels, O negative, is what it is. I told him that. He's like, whoa. That's how fast that happens for me, in case you ain't picked up on my gift. Now, the other thing is this. I was gonna do a live. Knock on wood, knock on my head, no lie. I was gonna do it. I'm a little excited here because it just, bam, hit me. And now I walked too. All right. So check this out. I was gonna do a live on what do people want? What does a people of any country want? Well, the one thing is, like how Biden, here, I'll give you another shot of it too, because he's moving and walking around, if I can. You know what I mean? We'll do what we can. What do a people want? One thing is freedom of speech. That is, if not anything else, that is freedom of speech. That is what a people want, okay? And they want to not think that they're gonna be, for no reason, taken in the middle of the night off to some gulag and killed. Okay, that's what Ukraine is fighting for, is freedom. Okay? I told him about what's going on in Canada, because he didn't have anything about it. I love them guys, right? Now check this out. What we want, what all people want, and what we want for our neighbors in other countries, I appreciate the like. What we want as people, we will lift up leadership. You know, we do want our leaders to do well, right? But what we want as people, in general, It's not so much that we have to have everything that the leadership or the so-called elite or the people with money, basically, who have more than us want. Or have, I mean. What we want is for the people who have less than us to have more. We need more homeless shelters so that it's not completely on our backs to help them. We also want the governments to take care of our military when they come home, so that we're not having to come up with, oh, this for vets and that for, we'll do that. It's in our heart to do that. Of course we'll help them, but the government needs to help them. They need to get on top of and completely rein into the medical system for, you know, the VA for veterans. But there needs to be not just more equality. You can't change a person's heart. You can't say, well, my neighbor has to love me, right? Because some people's parents have taught them racism and they are either in it or coming out of it, or they're just going to be that way their whole life. You can't stop that. Nobody can stop that. Whether they're black or white or pink, there is hate within different places. However, what we do know that we can change is the way that governments treat their people. Now, here in the U.S., we have it really, really good compared to a lot of countries, but we're still working on it. Okay? But what we want as a people is, if you're printing millions and millions of dollars and sending it here and sending it there, I think that we should already have, like I said, more places for homeless people to go, so that they are not just froze to death and found. Right now in Canada, they were talking about the stats there of their homeless is they only live to be like something like 40 years old, because it takes a toll, because they have 80-year-old bodies, and when they go to the doctor, if they do get to the doctor, that it has affected them. It's not just mental, it's physical. The cold affects you more. Of course, it's going to slow down your blood flow. A lot of people here in the U.S., even when an old man might take his grandson and go to the Boy Scout camping thing in the winter, and it gets cold, and they get blood clots in their heart. They have a heart attack and that kind of thing, like the next day. Cold weather affects people. That's why I hand out like the wool socks and beanie hats and that kind of stuff, and underwear and clothes that homeless people need, and food in those bags I hand out. These little dollar bags from Walmart. Anybody can do it. Okay, I go to the dollar store, I put stuff in it. But it's not just that. What the people want is for all spectrums of the different age groups in their country to be taken care of, but they want the next generation to do better. Which is why we need to get to a point where these wars, where there's no reason for them. Now, we can't help rogue nations doing what they do. We have to have an army, but it's not the army's job to take care of people. So right now, the reason communities are failing, it's no different than 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. When you look up that I'll have to look this up. It was in China, and the country was in decline, and this guy was leaving. He was about to leave. He was so very intelligent, and a guard officer of the army who was to guard the place to make sure nobody left without being able to, or came in, whatever, said, look, I know you're leaving. What kind of wisdom can you impart on me? You're so smart. What can you leave me with a grain of knowledge before you leave? So he sat down and wrote a 5,000 word book, a manifesto of life and everything he knew to help the guy, and then dropped it like that and left. He didn't sell it. It's now a bestseller. It's the most sold book, like next to the Bible. It's like everybody knows it. That and, well, Sun Tzu's Art of War. But this was I want to say it was Tao, T-A-O, but I'd have to look up. Or no, say, was it Mao Zedong? Leader? I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in the link in the comments. The point is, the society he was in, the little town he was in or city he was in decline. And so what did he do? Here's the whole story of the whole thing. What did he do when his town was in decline? He left. He left. One person cannot bring a town back out of decline. He left. What we need is for these towns to create more jobs for the people in it. The people who are stealing from different break-ins and all this other stuff, if they all had jobs, they would not steal. Not to say that it's a moral thing that, of course, most people wouldn't steal, and some people do. I'm saying, though, they would have no reason to. So you would eliminate that. Crime rate would go down. Create jobs. Meaningful, good-paying jobs. Now, Amazon is running some people like, really hard, but they've created jobs. We need our government to focus on what's real instead of trying to stay rich. And now you know who I'm talking about there and what that was about, but it's all of them. The best way to have a good people in a good country is to have happy people in a happy country. You will need less security from them and more security for them, because more people will want to come there. And that goes for every nation out there. And maybe stay awake when the Olympics is going on. I'm just going to say, that was fake. Everybody knows that was fake. You know what I mean? Putin fell asleep during the Olympics. It just happened to be the time just before the Ukrainian team came in and they were playing the Ukrainian national anthem. So if someone wants to show Russia respect, like Germany said, maybe Russia needs to show some respect to other countries instead of disrespecting their anthem. I'm going to put that right there. So while people are protesting, it is for a reason. It's because something's broken. Unless it was set up and, whatever, just to make sure that people wouldn't protest, like the thing in Washington. That thing was whole fake. Seriously. When Martin Luther King stood up there and was having his speech, they said there were millions. It is what it is, at least hundreds of thousands, and they were on the National Mall. That was real. A real march looks like that when there's a real problem. Well, there's some real problems and people are marching. And then truckers went to Canada to stand up for their rights not to have shots because it's retarded. It's kind of retarded, okay? You got a right to kill a baby, and you call that, your right. But you don't have a right to live if you think a shot might kill you, or just to say, hey, look, just let it kill me. If that's how I want to go out, I'll go out like that. People have rights. So instead of trampling on their rights, lift the people up. So what do people want? That's why I should have named this video, but it happened. But look, if you're going to make a statement, that man's making a statement. You know what I mean? It takes guts to stand up for things. And if you look at it, when this country was built, the United States of America was built where Washington was fighting the British, and he only had 15% of the populace behind him. Yes, he had the army, but as far as the people that were not an army, if you look, only 15% of the colonists supported him. And then, once it was done, it's like, oh yeah, we get back around him. Oh yeah, we didn't want to say anything because we were scared. Well, about half of them just really wasn't supporting him. Half of them was like, yeah, we're a little scared. Fear. We don't want fear. We don't want to live in fear. You understand, people? You have to look at the small details of every story to say, what do people want? Well, like that guy was leaving that city because it was in decline. He wanted what? He wanted jobs, a good income. Why do people want to leave different states? Fear and jobs. If you can get rid of fear and jobs and create a safety net for the worker that says if you're 65, because you know that if you live that long, I've known people that have gotten just to where they get Social Security and they die the next day of cancer and whatever. We want safe working conditions where we're not in a chemical plant that we're breathing in stuff. Give us SCBA. I mean, even in third world countries, you see people cutting concrete and they're breathing in the dust when they know that causes cancer, emphysema, whatever. They should at least have a dust mask. We know better, though. So see, we want our next generation to do better because of what we already know. That's where we're like, no, don't work there. That's dangerous. Or Hey, make sure you wear your safety glasses. Make sure you wear a dust mask. Make sure if you need to, wear SCBA breathing. We want safe work conditions just so we can work. We're willing to work. You have people that are inherently within us. We are designed to serve God, and we are designed to work hard. We don't mind. But what we want is the right kind of conditions so we can have a good life and live a long life afterwards and not all be kicking off from cancer. And we need more jobs. So they need to be about job creation instead of having parties and living it up, because that's a short-lived, it's like a fuse. It will burn out quickly. It's like a match. Once you light it, it flares up good. It looks great at first, and then it fizzles out. So what do we want as people? I'm talking not just in this country, every country. Well, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this now too, and I meant to do this last Sunday. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bloody Sunday. Okay? Bloody Sunday, there was two of them actually. One was in Russia, where the Bolsheviks killed off the Romanov family. They call that Bloody Sunday. But there was an Irish Bloody Sunday, and they want you to know about it. They want the next generation to know about it so it does not repeat itself. So la historia se repite. Well, we don't want it to repeat. So I'm going to tell you this part of it. One man was standing in front of a British soldier, and he was Irish, and he was saying, look, we need to be treated fairly and this kind of thing. And he held up a white handkerchief, and the soldier promptly shot him in the head and killed him, and he died right there where he stood. An old man with a white handkerchief. What we want as people is to be able to show what we stand for without being shot in the head and killed and have no rights. Okay? That happened. That was Bloody Sunday. A lot more were killed that day. They started opening fire on people, unarmed people in Ireland. Look up Bloody Sunday. Okay? So, in general, we want to pull up as truck drivers to a town that we're delivering to or going through or stopping at. And we don't want to stop at the red light and have people that are so poor that they're asking for money. But we don't want them to disappear in a black truck either, or a black van. Don't think I don't know about that. So for the people listening in the government, yeah, that's not proper either. What we want is to go to a town that when you ask someone, how are you doing? They're not saying, oh, I'm fine, but under their breath and under their fake smile, they're underpaid, overworked, they're working 2 jobs and can't afford what they have, and they're living on a shoestring budget and don't know how they'll ever retire. We need a safety net. And Social Security will probably go bankrupt because they keep stealing from it. What needs to happen is that jobs need to pay more in the first place. Incomes are rising a bit, but not even close to outweighing its effect from hyperinflation. Say hyperinflation. Printing money, but mainly, that doesn't even affect it as much as mainly. The costs of products going up, and they're fixing to go up higher because of the gas prices and everything else. It's not sustainable. We're at the edge of our economy's collapse because of less work, less jobs, people having to stay home, less goods and services, and the food is going to cost more because there's less of it. It's supply and demand. We got problems. We'll work through it. This is not doom and gloom. I thought I'd throw this out there though. What the people want is good paying jobs. And that fixes everything. We need to create more jobs. Back after when there was basically the stock market crashed, which could very well happen if Russia shuts off our undersea cables. I'm just saying that. Okay? They have the ability to. I haven't seen that it will. I'm saying they have the ability to. And if we cut off SWIFT, that's tit for tat. So when it did crash, here's what happened. People lined up in soup kitchen lines. People had cardboard signs saying, hey, can I get a job? Their kids were out there saying, hey, can you give my dad a job? It was that bad. And they were rambling around in mobile side of the road tent cities. This is not impossible for it to happen today. We don't want it to. But after that crash, and they realized they had to help the people after so much of this, they finally created things like the Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, and said, look, we'll just create a government program that'll create jobs, and they'll be building dams and stopping the water from flooding these farms all the time, and they'll be able to create, teach these farmers different methods of, hey, we want you to plant this crop, but leave it alone and don't harvest it and let it go back into the earth this year. Let the earth rest. And then you can use this type of farming method. So instead of putting rows down here where the water goes straight down, some people did that, not many. But in order to terrace farm, they taught the plateau and terrace farming technique, instead of rowing straight rows, curve with the curve of the land, that kind of thing, things that they had learned. We need to create a more sustainable society. Now, right now, there's a lot of big companies that own up a lot of the agriculture, okay? But creating jobs like for, there used to be 5 men wide shoveling a road, and it was just as smooth a road as this one right here. Maybe smoother, they say, instead of machines. Because so when there wasn't no jobs, hey, does a shovel fit your hand? That was what they used to say. The shovel-ready projects that they talked about, that was just using those words. That did not happen so well. So we need a lot more high-paying industry jobs in every city in the U.S. That's 50 states. Do the math. Get a calculator out. Figure out how many people there are. Okay? Look at what it is. And can you prop up, even if it's government subsidies propping up companies, can you prop up something? I mean, China 100% or 90% at least subsidizes companies, and they dump stuff on the world market because they're like, the paper's not worth nothing if people don't have jobs, right? And if they're all starving and dead, we won't even have a country. Okay? So if you can give a grant to other people from other countries that come into this country and can, buy a gas station or start up a business, how come you can't do it for the people that are in this country and give them just as much a place in the front of the line as those other people, and make it where they don't have to pay it back? There are some programs that are hidden. They need to make them more known, more well. They need to advertise the government programs that they have that they're keeping for the uber rich to use and loopholes, and they need to give those to the normal people and say, here. They need to send it to every household in a letter saying, this is your government speaking. You can get this grant and you never have to pay it back. It's just free money. Or just send them a freaking check, and it needs to be for a larger amount than just to go along and get along. For the places that have, especially those places that have low income and no jobs. We have to create this society and actually build back better. Not just say, oh, we're going to make something better. What has been made better? That's why I want a list, if anybody knows, of what has been made better. Not saying it's not good, but if we can do better, what has been made better? What, that we walk around in masks now? Is that better? I'm just saying. Now, it's eradicated the flu like I said it would. I think that's great. The regular flu is going to be dead. But, there needs to be a whole a consciousness shift. I'm gonna read some comments here. The Lord's Watchman. Let's see. Big problems are liberal cities because you invite the problems and shall be really. Let's see. Back from China. Yeah, okay, I say that too. Yeah, and it's a simple fix. A lot of jobs went to Mexico because it was cheaper to import bricks out of Mexico instead of having brick companies that I know about. This is why I say bricks for an example. And then, you know, they go under bankruptcy, they do this and that, and then they make them there, they bring them up, and under bankruptcy, they ship them out of their factory here, and it's actually cheaper to do that. Even bricks, as heavy as they are, to ship them. Well, that may be good, and thinking that they can use other workforces to do other things like that, but we got a workforce right here. We have an untapped workforce of women, okay, who are, and they have all these work at home jobs and stuff. They need to tap that workforce for those women who can't leave their house, and they need to give the other jobs, some of them, you know, who can get out, to work in the workforce. You see what I'm saying? There needs to be a impartial study, and I don't mean just another freaking study that they give a recommendation and nothing's done. I mean an active, workable plan that we could have 100% employment. You tell me where that's not possible, because I can't find one person that doesn't want to work. I found people that are like, man, I'm struggling. Some people who are homeless are like, man, I don't have a license, so I don't have ID, so I can't get a job because I don't have a cell phone. I don't even have a place to stay or a way to get back and forth. All of that needs to be fixed, and somehow those people need to be supported, and we can bring them back into society and say, welcome back to society. They don't want to be where they are, and it kills them early. It'll kill you quicker to be homeless than it will to have cancer, because you'll die at a later age with cancer than you will if you were homeless. It does something to your body. They've already done studies on this. It's the cold, okay? And you're sitting still and not active because you got nowhere to go, and if you just go somewhere, you might get arrested for just for being. And they fear the situation. And if they burn a lot of calories, they'll have to eat more, and they don't have the food. So what do people want? Well, if they'll listen to the people who are actually protesting, the actual protesters, what they actually want, they want a respectable life where they can make enough money to not just make ends meet, but when they see things on TV, like people taking vacations, like people going and traveling, the RVers that are in their RVs, they're not vacationing. They lost their house. They're homeless. I've gone down the highway and I've seen more RV camps on the side of the interstate pop up out of nowhere. And they're making money and they're charging them a good bit. But these people are like, look, I got to be somewhere and I'm in this RV. You see them at the Walmart. You see them at the truck stops. Don't tell me it's not happening. I'm seeing it everywhere. The numbers are immeasurable because their town was in decline. What do people want? They don't want to have to worry when a tornado comes through because their house is made of paper and cardboard and glue. Okay? They want a secure foundation to stay at. You know, they want less struggle and less stress. Stress itself causes cells to replicate out of control, causes cancer. That is what that is. Anybody wants to say anything else too? I was reading your comment and I appreciate the comment. Bring all of our jobs back from China. That's a good one. You know, China don't appreciate it anyhow. Look at how they treat us. So, and there's issues with the port and with the stuff coming in anyhow. That system doesn't work so well. I'm not saying we can't keep it. I'm saying we need to attend to things here on the home front. Things here. So that we could even support what's going on globally. We could do better. If we can do better and we can build back better, we need to do it. It doesn't just need to be a talking head giving lip service. And I'm not talking about our president calling him a talking head. That's just an old saying. Which, you know, there was just an Amber Alert. And I always think of Biden. I'm like, is this a silver alert? They just had one. I worry about that guy. He might walk off and... Seriously. Um, but it is what it is. But that's just our system. That's the way it works. Somebody who's somehow popular, it's not because he's the greatest in the country and they gave a test to everybody and they said, man, this guy could really run things. That's not how it works. If that is how it works, we would have a utopian society. And then people would look back and say, yeah, man, we're doing great now. We have free energy. We have machines that do a lot for us, but we have our government takes care of things. We don't have to work quite as hard. We get, 4 vacations a year, 5 vacations a year, whatever. And what did they used to do? They used to kill their kids. They used to have this thing called abortion, where they killed their children, their unborn little babies. And the government helped pay for it and supported those companies that pay for that. That's what they used to do. They used to say, well, we just can't afford children, so they'll murder them. And you go into a little clinic and you have a doctor murder them, and then they take their parts and then they put them into vaccines, and then they put them in, well, the one we have now. Yeah, it's in there. That's disgusting. I don't want that crap in me. None against anybody else. Conscientious objector. I raise my hand. We don't want to be forced to take that garbage in us. It is what it is. You have some people who are, the elites, so-called, whatever that'll say, and there was one in particular. You can look at how much I think it was Michael J. Fox got up there and was saying how it would help if they could do research on fetuses and all that stuff. And I have nothing against that, person. Of course he's going to want that. He had an issue, but it used to be women and children first. It used to be on the Titanic where, the rats were first. The rats jumped off first. But it used to be women and children first where, look, I'm just a violin player. You know what I mean? I'm not nobody special. I'm not the captain of the ship, but the violin player knew, just like the rest of the guys that stood up with him, but he was the first. He started playing a violin for everyone to have music that was up there. Even though he was going to die and he knew it, and he didn't have even a vest. He gave his vest to somebody else. Didn't even have a life raft. No life rafts. And he started playing the violin. So he let the women and children go first. He didn't do anything miraculous physically, except he knew he was going to die. He knew he wasn't supposed to go before the women and children to the life raft. He's like, I'll be the last one, or maybe the captain went down, whatever. The point is, there's self-serving people that don't do that. So there's also self-serving people who will go and have an abortion. Now, some of them are just not intelligent, and then they realize the ramifications later and think about it, and they're like, oh, I can't believe I even did that, and it bothers them the rest of their life. I ain't found a happy person yet, except that one crazy woman that looked like the Scream mask with her mouth all open. It was weird on Twitter. It's on there. I put that up. That was weird. So this is impromptu live, or I could show you that. I'm gonna do what I call a around the world thing on my next live. I'll do my Bravo test, because I did an alpha test, but I had no sound. I'll do a Bravo because I have a mic, I have a different camera. You will get this view, and you will also get a view that I can go on the internet and you can see my screen, and I'll go around the world. So when I say around the world, I'm going to show Twitter, I'm going to show YouTube, I'm going to show different news, I'm going to show links on the internet around the world. So I'll do some around the world lives, and that'll be my new format. So people think they're getting better, but I'm a trucker. I have to do that first. I have to make money first. Then, I've concerted effort here. I've put my effort towards this. I worked really, really hard, and then not that stopped by and went to some places, did research, did some learning. I have a mic. Like I said, I'm upgraded, and I didn't exactly get software. I got an app, because the computer I have actually uses apps. But I'm gonna find 3 different ways to get in, and I'll also get the program to do a live off of a computer, because it requires it. People, I'm gonna get off this thing. I guess the question is, do you know what you want as people? We want all countries to also be able to wave their own flag. I'm just saying. I'll show that, where Merkel told the guy who was in Parliament to, she put her hand on the German flag and pushed it down like, don't wave that. Seriously? Love your country wherever you're at. even if it's messed up, but make it better. Actually make it better. You know, and people who have jobs want those who don't have jobs to have jobs. That's what we want. We're not asking for much. We are asking that when you see a protest, if you're in government, that you actually look at it and say, wait a second, they're speaking to us. This is the part where we're supposed to be listening and be servants of the people. That's the best leadership, is to be public servants, not self-serving. I'm not saying they all are, you know, but staying rich is not serving the public. And it's not just the one AOC that wore the dress that said that. It's not just that. It's that mentality that got that on that dress has been there since way before she was ever in Congress. She just happened to put it up. So adopting that philosophy will cause all cities to go into decline, because that money can be better spent helping those in need. I don't think Mother Teresa would wear a dress that says stay rich. I think that she would have one that says help those in need. So I waited a while before I wanted to say this. It happened a little while back, but you know, think of what you are actually saying in that kind of thing before you say it. It's okay. Everybody messes up. We're not holding nobody. But that is the mentality of the whole group. If you speak out, you're probably speaking for 1,000 people. If you're a part of a group and you say something like that, yeah, you're probably leaking out the actual mentality of the whole group. So we get it. You know, message received. Message, they're going to stay rich. Message received. God bless you, people. I'm going to get off this thing. Little impromptu something. You can share it. We want all of our leaders to stay awake. We need them to wake up. Wake up to what's fixing to happen and what is happening, and make it better. If you want to make a better place, how about at least, if you're not paying attention, at least be awake. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. People, God bless you. I'm going to get off this thing. I got to get back to work. I got to do a little something. I can't just be on this. But I got coffee. You should too. I hope you have a good break if you're having one. And I'm not omniscient. God is. If you have questions, pray about it. Don't look to me for every answer, because I don't have half the answers you think I have. But I'll give what I know, and I'll help who I can while I'm here. And I'll teach what I know before I go. That's all I can do. And in that small way, I hope to make the world a better place. God bless you, and help the homeless when you can, because nobody else is going to. You can get a $1 bag from Walmart, go to a dollar store, you can buy a pack of 4 or 5 toothbrushes for $1, split them up in between. They'll take what they can get. They definitely need socks, and give them wool if you can, because in the end, they say cotton kills in the winter, but wool is good. And any type of military pants that listen, instead of having to wash them every day because they stink, they can wear them 4 or 5 days. It's a thing. Proper, P-R-O-P-P-E-R. If you just want to go all out and buy some brand new ones. Proper, P-R-O-P-P-E-R. Make sure you get the summertime blend. The wintertime blend will just make them sweat too much, and they wear layers. Proper. The summer blend, that's 100% cotton. It's not a blend with polyester at all. And large, long fits everybody. That's all I'm saying. I will do a better live. This was impromptu. That man wants to make a statement, I'll put it up. It's his channel just as much as it's mine. That's where I'm at on that. I'm out, y'all. God bless you all. Peace.